Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. Content is intended to provide accurate information, however, is not intended as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult a financial, legal, or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Opinions expressed and provided are for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security.
Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement, your resource, ladies and gentlemen, for a common sense approach to planning for your financial, your investment, your retirement future. And our resource on the program each and every week is Chicagoland's CFP certified financial planner, Tim Stearns, president and founder of TJ Stearns Inc. Tim, welcome back in.
Hey, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Tim, and another information-packed program to come. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get going, I do want to remind you, if you've got questions or concerns, if you would like to put your planning as a top priority and make sure that you've got a plan put together or have reviewed or updated that current plan, left no stone unturned, have that forensic financial analysis performed and the written retirement income plan constructed, pick up the phone and give TJ Stearns and CFP Tim Stearns a call at 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Now, Tim, on today's program, we want to cover, the plan is to get to all 8 of these top retirement tips for 2022. Now, before we get going, I do want to ask you, are any of these like new revolutionary exclusive for 2022, or are most of these like time-tested tips that we need reminding of the importance of in 2022, as too many of us do each and every year?
I think they're time-tested. I mean, they really are. Just go back to the basics and kind of get it done, which is easier said than done. So you see a lot of people that, say at the beginning of the year, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing with my finances. Well, these are 8 quick tips that we can tell people that, get on board and get it done and actually, perform the acts that need to be done.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has derailed a lot of plans, has triggered a lot of anxiety among particularly the retirement-minded investor. And that crisis has actually forced a lot of us to sort of reconsider some of our goals and a lot of the retirement timelines. All that being said, as we look at our financial goals for the future, always helps to have reminders and to make sure that we are looking at the right areas. So, Tim, number 1 on your top tip for 2022 is have a review that retirement plan. Make sure it's still up to date and still effective.
Right. So I'm going to say that's 1, and 1A would be actually having a retirement plan. A lot of people don't. They're going to wing it. They're going to just try it in retirement, that type of thing. So if you don't have one, I implore you, go get one. And number 2, if you have one, make sure that you're staying the course and making sure that adjustments that need to be made are being made, and that, you are on track with what you want to do, whether you're retiring soon or later. Make sure you're making progress. Well,
retirement, Tim, in particular, is one time where we don't want to say that didn't work out so well, but better luck next time, next go around. I'll have learned from this experience and I'll do it better. We just don't have that time or luxury in retirement. So reviewing that plan on a regular and ongoing basis, or having that plan in the first place, it's one of the paramount keys to success in retirement, what we all hope for.
Yeah. I mean, you want to make sure that you're staying on it, and you don't get a do-over. We always say that, the last thing you want to do is find out when you're 80 something years old that you don't have enough money to retire. The chances of you going back to work are slim and none, and that's not going to happen. And, living with family or having to be on Medicaid and all that stuff that goes with not having money is just a horror show for retirement. So we always try to make sure that we understand, our clients understand that, you're looking at a 30+ year retirement. How are you going to get through that effectively?
I once saw a TED Talk Tim, with Simon Sinek. He's a pretty famous speaker on the TED Talks. I think his is particularly of note and famous, but he talked about messaging and how a lot of times messaging we hear is what we do, how we do it, and then why we do it. But effective messaging is why, how, and then what. And when I think of that in terms of retirement, I love my family would be the why, right? So how I want to retire, I want to be able to spend more time with them, take trips with them, do extra things. And that's also kind of the what. What is I would like to retire. But too many of us think of retirement in terms of, yeah, I'm going to take trips, I'm going to spend more time with family, but we have not really defined the how that is going to happen. Okay, what does that look like? How do we afford our ability to do that with confidence?
Well, then I would answer real quickly that you need an income allocation plan, and that goes along with the book that we give out to the first 10 callers that have over $500,000 that we want to get into their hands, whether it's digitally in the mail, or they can come in and see us and get it. Basically, that book details exactly how to retire and what that looks like in retirement, making sure your bills are paid, how you're getting there with Social Security, whether you have a pension, your 401ks, your Roths, how does that all intertwine? You need to have a plan. And that's the bottom line. And I'd say about 95% of Americans don't. And the 5% that do, sometimes I've seen some of them that are very suspect. They're using gross numbers. They're not using net numbers, because what's your number one bill in retirement? Taxes. Number two, medical costs. And those are usually underestimated on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So I would tell people, go ahead.
That's been our number one bill during our working career. It's just so often that is paid before we even see the majority of our money. But in retirement, that sort of reverses, and we've got to account for that tax bill. But a lot of times, you're right, Tim, I think these retirement projections that we see don't include that important factor and kind of that number one expense that we're going to have to make sure we are capable of paying.
Exactly. So you look at the ability of, making sure that you have a plan. Not having a plan is having a plan. You're just kind of go through it. Devil may care attitude. It's not going to work. And you want to make sure that you're able to be successful, not be a burden on people, and enjoy yourself. Let's cut to the chase here. You want to enjoy yourself in retirement. You've worked your whole life to get there.
Right. And that's the what, the how, and the why of why you need to review that retirement plan, specifically get that written retirement plan. And how to do that, that is the income allocation model. And if you are maybe not familiar with that, you have not heard that terminology, you don't know how an asset allocation differs from the income allocation and why it is so important, pick up the phone, give Tim Stearns a call, request a copy of that book, Income Allocation. Again, available either virtually, digitally, or the physical copy could be mailed out to you if you're one of the first 10 callers with at least 500,000 saved for retirement, because some of these strategies do work best for those who have been serious savers. But if that's you, pick up the phone right now and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256 for your copy of the book, Income Allocation, the Essential Retirement Planning Strategy Guidebook, that Tim really outlines many of the greatest risks to today's retirement and why some of those risks can be directly attributed to the way that we have been taught to manage our assets, the traditional asset allocation.
Well, asset allocation has failed us 5 times in the last 20 years. The good news is, for most of the people that are listening to this show, is that they were younger then, so they could recover from not only the market coming back for 13 years and them putting money in, so their dollar cost averaging at all times. That's a great synergy, towards a plan. But unfortunately, a lot of people they could retire into a bear market, and then you have sequence of returns risk, which can turn your world upside down if you don't have as much money as you thought you were going to have. And how do you get it back, really? The only way you get it back in retirement is by the growth of the market. So ask yourself, does your advisor or do you have stop losses on your accounts? Do you have things that will not let the money bleed away? I was just at a conference the other day, and they were talking about how most bear markets, you don't realize you're in it, and it takes about 1.5 years for it to finally settle from peak to trough. that people don't realize that they're slowly bleeding out.
Yep. Which is why retirement tip number 2 on our list for 2022, reassess your risk tolerance. Tim, why is this so important? Why is it so often overlooked?
Well, I can tell you right now, as Americans, we are greedy and we like a good story that the market just keeps going up. And I appreciate that. But I want people to realize that 2008 isn't that long ago, that they should remember how they felt in their stomach when they saw their portfolio get, over a third of it lose, or 2007 through 2009 when they lost almost 50% of their portfolio. These are things that cannot happen in retirement. That's where the stop loss is, having some safe, non-correlated assets where that stuff comes in to be very useful to someone who's in retirement.
Well, again, we have seen tremendous growth and gains in the market, but that means that you inherently have more risk in your portfolio than you did last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you have not taken the time to reassess that risk tolerance and rebalance your portfolio accordingly. Tim, that's one of the big areas that as you are teaching your classes, the Rethink Retirement classes, and as you are doing the complementary portfolio reviews and analysis, the forensic financial analysis, you are helping people really discover, uncover, identify, and clarify what that risk tolerance is, and then showing them how their portfolio aligns or is not aligned with that risk tolerance.
I think people are really surprised when they see when they tell you what kind of risk they want, and then when you analyze their portfolio and realize that they realize with you that they're taking a lot of undue risk. A 13-year bull market, the equities have eaten everything that the bonds were even supposed to do. So you're having people really top heavy in equities that, when they fall down, it's going to be catastrophic to someone who's in retirement. And the flight to safety is a bond. Well, if bond interest rates are going up, and they're saying 3 to 4 times this year, that's going to lose value in a bond too. So where do you hide from the hiccups in the market is to stay balanced and make sure you know exactly what you have in your portfolio. And I don't think most people do.
Well, Tim, just for example here, if half of our portfolio is in more conservative or safe or protected assets, half of it is in equities in the market, we have a 50-50 kind of risk tolerance. And we have a year like last year where the market's up 20%, just round numbers here. That means that the portfolio is now more of a 40-60. 60% of our money is at risk instead of 50. We're overexposed to that risk, and we need to reassess that risk tolerance and make readjustments.
Right. And that's what we talk about in our retirement classes. Which anyone out there that would like to attend it, please give us a call and we'll get you the dates and times and where we're going to be at. But it's right now we're at Roosevelt University in Schaumburg, right off the highway there. It's really easy to get to. Most people leave that class, if not 95% of them, were very happy that they understood everything, or it's reaffirmed exactly what they need to know for retirement. So I'm very proud of that class, and I think people would love it.
I'm okay with reaffirmation, confirming things as well, to know that I'm on track financially. I am certainly feeling okay with that and like it was a valuable use of time. And if you would like to attend one of those upcoming classes or find when the scheduled one is that is next and most convenient for you, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Number 3 on your 8 retirement tips for 2022, Tim, maximizing your tax-advantaged retirement opportunities. What does this mean? How do we do it?
Well, I mean, first of all, you could do a catch-up, for your retirement. That's a great way if you're over 50 years old. Even the year that you are turning 50, you can do that. So even if you haven't turned it yet, there's a lot of different things that you could be doing to make sure that you're putting your money away. Right now, up until April 15th, you can actually double up your contributions to a Roth, or if you're eligible income-wise, or an IRA. And those are great tools to make sure that you're putting as much money as you can away for retirement. I promise you'll more than likely end up using the brunt of it.
Yeah. And Tim, for a lot of folks out there, they've got excess cash sitting in the bank. That's not necessarily the best place for excess cash long-term, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen inflation over the last year at an advertised 6%. Well, the rate of growth on that money sitting in the bank is probably 0.5%. thereabouts, 0.5%. You've lost money safely on $100,000. That safety cost $5,500 of purchasing power, essentially. So what's a better alternative? Tim, as you mentioned, we could make a Roth IRA contribution for both last year and this year right now. And if you're married, you can do that for yourself and your spouse. Even if the spouse is not in the workforce, you can make a spousal IRA or Roth IRA contribution. Tim, if you're 50 or above, both of you, that's $28,000 that you could potentially get working for you within the next couple of weeks.
Right. Absolutely. And you know, the power of compounding, right? The seventh wonder of the world, right? So you have that ability to do that right now. Take advantage of it.
Albert Einstein said it was the most powerful force on the planet. Tim, tip number 4, analyze current spending to estimate retirement income needs. How many of us are really looking at our current spending and expenses and getting an accurate picture of what we're going to need in retirement for our income?
Not many. Most people, when we ask them to do a budget, oh, well, I have a good handle on it, you know, but it's going to go down once I retire. And we show them that in most cases, it does not go down, you know, so you have to look at, you know, are you going to buy another house in Florida? You're going to, you know, that's another chart, money that's going somewhere, you know, for expenses. So we make sure that we show people, you know, exactly what it looks like. Where is their dollar going? I've also found that usually one of the spouses has no idea what's going on. And that, you know, that's not good for either of them, because if God forbid one of them passes, they don't know what's going on, how they're paying their bills, where the money's coming from. This is a great exercise to get both parties on the same page.
Yeah. And again, if you'd really look at your lifestyle and what it costs you, a lot of times it is not accurately reflected, Tim, in what most people do for the line item budget, where they list out what the mortgage payment is, what the insurance bill is, what the cell phone and gas and electricity and water and so on and so forth. Many different lines there, and then a total at the bottom. It's great to do that, and it will help you control your money. But what is often left out is lifestyle. And so if we compare that line item budget, that's subsistence, with what we're actually spending, we might find that what we're actually spending is significantly more than that line item budget might give us reason to believe. Right.
And that's why I tell people, you know, before you're going to go into retirement, you know, the number one question is, do I have enough? Right. Well, do you do the exercise of doing a budget. An income allocation plan encompasses all that, where you need to figure out what exactly you're spending and how you're going to get it done.
Well, again, if you would like that income allocation plan, a detailed written plan for your retirement income, both looking at your line item budget and subsistence, what all bills you need to cover, but also looking at lifestyle and making sure that you're going to have the income to maintain your lifestyle, the comfort of living that you are accustomed to into and throughout retirement. That is one of the aspects, one of the facets of the Protect and Grow written plan, the strategy session, the forensic financial analysis of your investments and your retirement plan, putting together that written retirement income plan. It's all part of the process and the strategy session. Pick up the phone and give certified financial planner Tim Stearns a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, you mentioned purchasing that vacation property. And your next tip, be proactive in dealing with debt. My question, tying those two together, how important is it today, in today's low interest rate environment, to be completely debt-free in order to enter into retirement? I mean, I remember back in the 80s and 90s when interest rates were double digits, how important it was for a retiree to have the home completely paid off. Is it still as important, or are there other ways to look at that today?
There's two trains of thought. I mean, a lot of people were getting, just 6 months ago, a year ago, were getting really low 15, 20, and 30-year mortgages. So, you know, the argument is, well, I'm only paying 2.5% to maybe 3% on my money. I can make more money in the market. That's one side of the fence. The other side is, you know, do you want to actually be debt free and not have to worry about where your next where your next payment for your mortgage is going to go to. So I understand both sides, but I would hope by the time that people are retired, the mortgage, if anything, is very low.
So guidance from a certified financial planner, ladies and gentlemen, really tipping the cap to the two sides of our money. There's a mental, emotional, psychological aspect to money, and maybe nothing is more freeing mentally and emotionally about our money than being debt free. But there's also the arbitrage and the difference in interest rates versus the potential for growth with investment. You need to weigh those carefully for your situation is the bottom line. And that's part of the review process, part of the discussions, part of the answering and addressing of top financial issues with a certified financial planner. And Tim Stearns offers that opportunity to you. Pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, this is a big one. Number 6 on your list, refine your retirement healthcare strategy. Now, estimates from the Department of Health and Human Services put the potential cost for routine medical care, co-payments, and deductibles in excess of $300,000 over the average couple's retirement lifetime. That alone is daunting, but that's really not an all-encompassing healthcare strategy either.
Well, yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it. That's the average. It could be a lot more. And you want to make sure that you're working with someone who's certified in Medicare, like we are. I'm very proud to say that we have a great staff that can help people. We just got done with open enrollment, a month and a half ago. A lot of changing parts there. You want to make sure you have the proper coverage so you're not paying out of pocket. Like some people miss opportunities. You don't want to do that, especially when it comes to your health insurance costs.
Well, every American is eligible to enroll in Medicare at age 65, but there is a lot that goes into that decision. And you want to deal with somebody who can really help you sort through all of the factors of your specific situation and give you recommendations on what the best plan or combination of options is that's available to you. Pick up the phone and give a call to TJ Stearns Inc. They can help you through that. They are looking after the health and the wealth, and they're making sure that you've got a plan for both. Pick up the phone and give them a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, part of that healthcare plan and what I'm seeing as increasingly popular are these high deductible healthcare savings accounts, HSA plans. If we've got one of those available, or if that is our plan, we do need to take advantage of both parts, not only the lower potential ongoing costs, but also the opportunity to make sure that we're saving the difference in that healthcare savings account. Maximize that HSA contribution.
Always put as much money as you can there. If it's not use it or lose it, a lot of people think that it's like a flex plan. It's not like that. You can use it from, if you don't use all of it up, it continues to grow. If you have it in the market, you can actually do that. There's a lot of choices where you can put in investments and actually make whatever you put in there a little bit more. Obviously, that needs to come with some care to make sure that you're not putting all that money at risk.
Now, if you use it for medical expenses, essentially that's one little loophole, one little opportunity where we can have truly tax-free money. But if you don't end up using it, Tim, as I understand, by the time that you are of retirement age, you can actually roll that over and it kind of becomes like an ancillary secondary IRA account. That investment that you talked about making, that can be part of your retirement income plan at that point.
That's correct. So there's a lot of different options with it. In retirement, you need to be flexible because, life is not, static. It's going to be very dynamic when you retire.
And finally, number 8 on our list of 8 tips for retirement planners in 2022, Tim, understand your retirement income options. You always stress and emphasize the importance of this one on the program.
Yes. And one of those biggest components are going to be Social Security. So I ask anyone out there, have you done a Social Security optimization plan, to see a report as to when you're leaving money on the table or if you're taking everything that you should be? Do you go early at age 62? Do you go at 66 or 67, depending on your full retirement age? Or do you wait till 70? there's a lot of different opportunities out there, but you don't want to, you only get a do-over 1 year within 1 year after you turn on Social Security. If you realize you don't really need it, you have to give that money back to them, or you could do a lump sum back to them, or they'll take it out of your future monies. But I'm just saying, I would tell you, be careful and make sure that you're working with someone who also, like we are, Social Security certified, where we know exactly how to do it correctly.
A lot of different choices and options. And by the way, the folks at the Social Security Administration, they don't give proactive recommendations on when the best time to take your benefit would be. They simply file the paperwork at the time that you apply. That is because that they don't know the rest of your financial situation. They don't take on the liability of making any kind of recommendations, but you can crunch the numbers in advance, folks, to find out if you are making the right decision or when an optimal timing would be and what strategy to do it under. But Tim, even if we have that optimal strategy mapped out, for most of us, Social Security does not constitute all of what we need for retirement income. So we still need to understand what options are available from our personal investments to generate the rest of the income we're going to need.
Yeah, you have to understand, where is the rest of the money coming from after Social Security? Do you take it from your Roths? Do you take it from your IRAs? Do you just do RMDs? What does it look like? And what do you want to do? Do you want to leave a legacy to your kids in the form of Roths and that type of thing, where it's growing tax deferred for at least 10 years, or for at most 10 years rather? The Secure Act plays into a lot of that decision. So I would tell people, get a hold of what the Secure Act is. If your advisor has not talked to you about the Secure Act, shame on him or her, because that is going to be a huge deal for you when you pass away, going forward.
Well, I think if any of these 8 retirement tips topics or the subcategories during the discussion of each one of them have been missed, then you are missing key components, and important factors in your financial future are being determined by unknown elements. So let's get a plan put together, review or update the current plan, make sure that you're on track. Tim Stearns, a certified financial planner, Chicagoland's CFP resource, can help you do that with the Protect and Grow Plan and Strategy session. 800-640-2256, the number to call to take advantage of that offer and that opportunity. No cost, no obligation for that planning, review, and strategy session. Also, the first 10 callers, you can receive a copy of the book Income Allocation. First 10 with $500,000 saved for retirement also requests the Essential Retirement Planning Strategy Guidebook Income Allocation. Make sure you get the copy of that in your hands. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, as always, the time moves by very quickly here on the program, as it does in life. That's why we encourage people not to procrastinate and appreciate your perspective in getting them serious about their planning.
All right, Peter, thanks for having me.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program on 890 WLS every Sunday at 11 a.m. and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.